What do you think?
You know, you drive in off the highway onto the dirt road, and all of a sudden you come into this huge city, and it is absolutely incredible what they've done, what Dave's done to put this race on, and to have the trophy trucks now a part of this whole program is incredible.
Okay, we're getting ready to watch a start here. Bryce Menzies going up against our second place, Abdali Lopez, and it's Pete Soren's brother, Chad Soren. We lost Pete, and he's gonna be doing our green flag start. A lot of emotion running around through the pits here just because of that, and we are super excited that he's here to be doing this. Again, we lost one of our T1 drivers here recently in a tragic crash down in in San Felipe, Baja, and his brother here to give the green flag.
You know, these guys, you know, as a driver and as a navigator, their emotions are high. And anybody say you don't have emotions or your heart doesn't start ticking a little bit faster is probably dead.
Or you shouldn't be there.
You shouldn't be there. You are. You're excited. You're pumped up. You know, and it's how you control that emotion is what's going to get you that finish line first.
And usually right when that flag drops, it all goes away. But they're going to be doing 2 trucks every 2 minutes. So this is going to be something different for the T1s.
Now, obviously, you got the four-wheel drive of Menzies that should probably get the whole shot on this. So it's be exciting to see what happens when that green flag drops.
Okay, so we're getting ready to start here on the Pistol Pete Memorial again. Just a little memorial to our buddy Pete Soren, who's not here with us, but I know he'd love to be in spirit. That's for sure.
Well, looks like we're almost off here.
Well, again, this is a ceremonial green flag. In case you're wondering what we're watching. And again, this is Pete Soren's brother, Chad Soren. So we're going to be getting a ceremony. We got a ceremonial green flag start. Now we're going to wait, I believe it's another minute, until we get the actual green start to start this race. Again, a historic first. These guys running for $100,000 to win. I think a total purse of $125,000, and we are ready to see T1 trucks at the King of the Hammers. Man, we've been waiting a long time for this, Ryan. I think it's going to be awesome.
You know, I said I know all these guys are super pumped to be out here racing California, which hasn't happened in a long time, which is really cool, and I hope we get a chance to do more of it. But he said Dave is setting precedents about bringing trophy truck racing to the next level, and what he's done with this bringing this T1 class to this series is awesome. I'm excited to watch this race. I wish I was a part of it.
Yeah, about any second now they're about to be taking off. Ryan, what's your take? You've been racing these a lot lately, and you're not out there. What's going on?
Yeah, we were supposed to. Unfortunately, we had to back out a couple weeks ago because my team owner had a business dealing he had to work on, and so our first race will be the Mint. It was unfortunate because I was really looking forward to being a part of this first race. I guess the next best thing is to watch it, but sometimes as a driver, watching sucks. I mean, you know that, sir.
That's not the best
I will be seeing you at the Mint.
This is torture for all of us who want to go back and race. Don't sugarcoat it, Ryan. Come on. Let's get real here. But
even though Abdali is my teammate, I'm putting money on Bryce right now because he does have the all-wheel drive lightweight truck.
Well, Bryce should get that whole shot.
He laid on a qualifying
something wrong
run,
if he doesn't.
I mean, my God, he's on fire. It looks like we're getting ready to get a green flag. And there we go. And that's that whole shot you talked about, Ryan. Right off the start, that all-wheel drive digging in.
Watch that truck pull away, too, coming off the corner. He'll gap him a little bit as well.
This is something totally new for these trucks taking off side by side. So you're going to get a little bit more close contact coming into the short course, especially in these desert trucks. They're not set up for the short course. They're set up for the desert. So it's going to be cool to see how they drive them and outperform each other going through it.
Man, I do know at the Mint they do the side-by-side start, Ryan, where they actually get them like this. But then, of course, in Baja, it's an every minute start and minute separation. This is obviously great for the fans. Everybody great here in Hammertown. Good morning, Hammertown. Wake up. Let's go. We are racing here. Can't wait to see what happens today.
Now, it's neat. Obviously, this is the first time we've done qualifying the same time or within the same hour of the race, and I know these guys had just a little bit of time to work on the trucks, not much, but now reset, get ready to go for a 240-mile race, and send these trucks out in the desert. And it's not going to be easy on the trucks.
And here we got kind of a bit of a tire war here going. The Toyo tires going up against the Yokohamas, and a great qualifying start for Josh Daniels. Super excited to see him do as well as he's doing. And we're getting ready to see how Mr. Andy McMillan does as well. So our third and fourth qualifiers getting ready to take off.
I know Josh has got some big power in that truck too, so it'd be interesting to see what happens with these two guys off the line.
What number do you hear? I hear crazy numbers.
I hear 1,000 plus is what
I hear
hearing.
more. I hear more like 1,200. So
I wouldn't doubt it.
I don't know how that's going to last, but we'll
If
see
you
what
hear
happens.
It, it's mean.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
We'll see. Let's see if we can use it here. This is going to be interesting off the start here to see how these guys do. Beautiful, mostly beautiful prepared vehicles. They look great. Here we go.
Andy's got that inside line too, which is going to be beneficial.
Josh is a wild child, though. He has no fear whatsoever. Josh does. He goes for it and he pushes the truck absolutely to its limits.
He is a hell of a driver. He is fast. I wouldn't count him out of this race at all. So. And it's it's interesting too. As you guys see the navigators in these trucks, I mean they're actually doing work, and I guarantee off that start they're letting the driver know if he's clear or not. So whether he cleared Josh or whether Josh cleared Andy. So they're constantly communicating back and forth with each other. And that navigator plays such a big part of racing trophy trucks nowadays.
I feel like they're the unsung heroes as well. A lot of the credit gets given to the driver, but those co-drivers, they're doing a lot of work. They're the ones usually checking the temps as well as calling out the notes for the driver and being the eyes when they can't see.
And communicating with the team too, letting the team know what's going on, the team communicating with them letting the driver know what's going on, what's happening, where they're at, time splits.
For me, you're looking at our starting grid, these two guys are maybe the most interesting two pairings that I think I see. Luke McMillan's been on a roll with McMillan Racing Team. He's awfully fast in qualifying. I think he is not a dark horse to him, but I think he's one of the favorites. Brett Serapis, really? Got the new Mason all-wheel drive truck. The Serapis boys have been running hard too. I think these two guys and Bryce are the ones that are really going to be interesting to watch.
It will be. Luke is very, very fast, very consistent, and he's always at the front. And Brett's really come into his own. Obviously coming off a big win at Parker, which is huge, but you also got a two-wheel drive against a four-wheel drive here as well, so it'd be interesting to see what happens. Even though you got Brett on the outside of the corner, it would be interesting to see who gets the whole shot.
Well, it's beautiful watching that camera angle from our crew just now, watching the Andy McMillan truck right there. Fascinating to watch because Andy's kind of checking out right there on Josh, and here we're going to see two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive.
Oh, that inside
Energy drink versus beer. Here we go.
Just like Sarah said, that inside line, there's something to be said for that right now, obviously. Oh, we've got a little sideways there.
But he can just drive in on the inside and pull right out, so it'd be interesting to see how the next corner gets set up.
It looks like Luke's going to hold it now, going out, getting ready to get out in the open desert.
It's interesting. Once they leave the short course, there's so many different lines to be taken. You have the inside lines, they're a little off camber. If you wanted to stick to them and take your time, you have less distance to cover. But then you come into the sauce section where back door is, and there's a whole other options of lines to take. So it's going to be quite a dicing out just coming through the first mile.
No, you're absolutely right, and it's nice, especially as a driver, if you're catching somebody or if you're in the dust, to be able to have those options at different lines. Just getting yourself out of the dust a little bit could be huge for you.
Okay, here got some other two talented guys, no question about it. Two-wheel drive trucks. We have got both on BFG tires in this particular group. We got Rob McCackron on the right, the number 11 Rockstar truck, always competitive, and the always quick Justin Lofton running in his Jimco truck. It'll be interesting to have these guys too. Obviously, I think McCackron's got an advantage. He's a short course driver. Not going to be surprised to see him coming out of the box a little quicker here.
And he's got that inside line too, Marty. So it's going to be interesting. You mentioned both guys on BF Goodrich. BF Goodrich, in my opinion, does make the best tire on the market.
100% with you there.
But also, it is going to come down. This race, I guarantee, is going to come down to tires. So the guys with the least flat, you're not going to get a chance to get a flat in this race because it's going to take you out. You can't even get a flat in a 500-mile race anymore and have it cost you. So it's going to be very critical.
For those of you at home watching, just so you know, both my colleagues up here on stage are both BF Goodrich drivers, so that's okay. You can say that. I am too, but we are. We're here seeing all these time manufacturers are working hard, which is great.
I can say I'm partial.
Yeah, exactly.
I am definitely Team BFG. That inside line, it seems to be the money. You get right off the start, less distance to cover, you're able to cut into the other person's path and you keep your momentum.
I think you're absolutely right with that. I think you can you get that whole shot coming off that second corner. I think you're pretty much going to hold it all the way out, which is what's been happening with every guy so far. I tell you what, Rob's always going to be tough to beat. Justin, he needs a little bit of luck. He's had some bad luck the last year or so, and I know he had bad luck at Parker. He only went 10 miles, so it'll be interesting to see if they got the bugs worked out of what happened to Parker, and he can stay up there with Rob and make a race out of this. I think he has the speed, he has the talent to do it. So let's see if he has a truck.
What I'm seeing is a nice clear vision. I'm not seeing a whole lot of dust here yet so far, which is great, can make for great racing. And obviously we got our next group up here, which is our Baja 1000 champion. Yep, Cameron Steele, number 16, Desert Assassins Monster Energy back truck on BFGs. And then, of course, we have Mr. McMillan here, Dan McMillan, also on BFGs, sponsored by McMillan Racing. Two beautiful trucks, actually, beautifully prepared, both of them.
And Dan's on the inside, and like I've said, I know he's been putting in time on the short course and really kind of perfecting his driving skills, which has been really awesome to see him actually progress.
Yeah, a little tidbit too. Cameron's truck, that's Bryce Menzies' old geyser truck, and Cameron's now racing it. That's not the truck that Cameron won the Baja 1000 with.
There's that beautiful camera shot again. I just love that angle these guys are showing these guys. Again, we are literally bringing this to you live around the world, and we are in the middle of nowhere. So that anytime you see a shot like that, that's a tip of the hat to our hard-working production crew. Just amazing work.
Oh.
Look at that. Cameron's not giving up.
Nope.
Nope.
Door to door right off the start.
We'll see what happens here. Cameron obviously was a pro buggy champion, Lucas Oil. He is a short course racer. Amongst the other things that Mr. Steele does and does well, we'll see if he can get by. But Dan, it's nice to see Dan trying to race for fourth like he always does. Hopefully he'll do better than that.
Maybe we get Dan to break that fourth.
Maybe
there's a third, second, or first in his future.
I would love to see
that.
And Cameron on the inside, he's trying to make a move on Dan, but he is not giving up.
Very soft in the inside right there.
That lost him a little bit of time as well.
And the two-wheel drives, it's hard to get back up to speed. You have to be really careful.
It is. You got to keep momentum. Even though you have big horsepower in these trucks, you just can't get the power to the ground. So you're just sitting there spinning the tires. And based on what you said too, Marty, as far as the conditions go, the dust doesn't look that thick, which is nice. They've had the rain out here, which has helped the terrain. It's going to keep the dust down a little bit, and it's going to give you a lot of forward bite as well.
And talking this morning to Kevin Corrier, one of the premier engine builders, he loves this because with the cold air we have here and the moisture content, man, these engines love that. I think these things are going to run great all day.
Well, you're watching in qualifying. You're watching some of the footage of Bryce from the helicopter and dry lake beds, and he is moving. So he's letting the legs out on that truck. Let it go.
So I see Tavo, he's back up running. So whatever happened in qualifying, he's recovered from. So that's great to see because Tavo's going to be definitely one to beat. But he's starting in the back, so he has a lot of time to make up.
So here we got BJ Baldwin, again, a crowd favorite, a fan favorite here in the Monster Energy Toyo truck. Toyota branded. Two Toyo trucks actually running here. The Apudias as well. So we can see how Alan does here. BJ has a lot of car control, a lot of skill at that. And we were talking earlier, Ryan, I think the time has come for Mr. Baldwin to have a good race.
He's had some bad luck too. We talked about Justin having some horrible luck, and BJ's kind of been in that same boat. So maybe he can kind of shake that off this race. But
nice move right there by Ampudia for sure.
Let's see if he has him going into the corner. It looks like he's got him coming off that jump. He got him.
I can see the Ampudia family now just having a big smile on their faces watching their boy running. Like I said, super tight-knit family from Ensenada, Mexico. Love to see those guys out here, and that was fantastic. So we'll see if BJ can catch him here in the infield.
I think Alan had some time to watch the previous people take off and kind of set himself up and do a little bit of smart racing there.
Very smart. You're absolutely right, Sarah. You know what? As a driver too, once you know you've gotten yourself beat on the infield like this, you got to kind of set them to a pace a little bit, and you can't let that hang in the back of your mind. Because what's going to force you into is it's going to force you into mistakes later on in the course. So you got to kind of set your groove, come into your own. And especially now that you're going to be in the dust a little bit.
Great camera shot right there with Troy Herbst. Used to race with them, Ryan.
My old boss, my old teammate.
Your old teammate. You didn't race this truck, I don't think.
And that's the same make truck, the Herb Smith Fab truck. They do such an awesome job. The trucks are beautiful, but that's the truck that same make as what I race now, and they work so well, so well.
In case you're just joining us, we are at the Toyo Tire Invitational here at the King of the Hammers, brought to you by Monster Energy, and we're watching the first ever T1 race here at one of the biggest off-road races in the world, and it is exciting, and we're just getting started. So if you're at home watching, pour yourself another cup of coffee wherever you are in the world, or a shot of tequila if you're down in Mexico.
Hot toddy.
Or if you're in Germany, go have a Jägermeister from the fatherland. We love it, so we're enjoying ourselves here, and glad you're with us to see what is history in the making right now, Ryan.
How awesome it is to see those Herb trucks back in red too.
You know what? I hate to say it, but I like it better.
You like it better in red or black?
I think they look so great, and certainly a great tribute for sure.
The trucks in that red just pop, and it just brings back that nostalgia. I love the way they look, and I don't know if they're going to run it all year, but I kind of hope they do. It looks like Troy got a really good jump on Tracy Graff too, coming off the line.
Do you know, is Tracy racing today, or is it Justin Smith? Do we know?
That's actually a good question.
Well, you're the expert. You're supposed to know answers.
That I don't know.
I mean, you come up here, you look good, but we need answers. We need expert advice here from you, Ryan Arciero.
I didn't get a chance to walk the pit and ask.
You know, Sarah and I can't be the only pretty ones up here. We gotta have some brains too. Come on.
Well, they asked the wrong guy.
He was being a prima donna back there. He wanted his makeup done.
I know. We saw it earlier.
You asked me to hold your hand a little bit ago.
They don't. I know. Well, they don't call you Ryan Star Sierra for nothing. What's going to be interesting now?
We got Robbie next. So it looks like he had a flat tire in qualifying. I saw him coming across the line. The question is how far into the run did he get it? Because he's pretty far down the line. So my take is he's probably got the flat quite a few miles back before the finish.
What we've seen so far, I mean, the start, obviously in a place that's super tight and technical, like Baja, with also a lot of dust, qualifying starting is everything. Here it may not be, because I'm seeing a lot of open desert running, triple, quadruple lines out there. It may not be so critical, so Robbie could come back.
I tend to agree with you for this race. Knowing now what the conditions are, seeing the helicopter footage from the qualifying runs, you might be onto something with that as well. It may not be as critical. In Baja, it's really critical. Really critical. You can't be shoved in the back with all the fast guys up front. Plus, the dust is bad enough where you can't take chances. In this desert, you can take chances. You can kind of get offline a little bit, and the risk versus reward isn't as big as it is Baja. You get offline in Baja, you're pretty much done.
Yep. Here, I think if you get offline, you're going to have those pop-up rocks, those rocks that are going to cause flats, and you're going to have issues if you get them. So that's going to be, it's a tight and technical course for these guys when they're used to being wide open, and so it's going to be interesting to see how everyone kind of stacks up, especially with Robbie starting from the back.
And we can just see right now, Robbie's also one of those guys that, he's going to when you're going to go side by side and be competitive, he's going to go. And I think, we can see it right now is that
he will not give you an inch.
No, but also, Ron, I think it's time, as we talked about with BJ Baldwin, I think Robbie needs a good race too.
He does. He's had some horrible luck as well. Like stupid little things go wrong, and little parts breaking here and there. But yeah, he needs. I mean, obviously, we all know he has a speed. There's no question about that. And if you watch Robbie how you used to race back in the day, to watch him now, like he'll pick up the pace when the crowd's there. But then you watch him settle into his pace, and he runs just a mile pace. He really does. You're
talking like this is new. Haven't you not noticed that? Have you not? Actually, I'm usually watching. You're in the race car usually most of the time. This is a Robbie thing. In Mexico, when he sees the crowd, he's 1,000 RPM higher and 1,000 RPM louder, and then when he goes out past that, and his dad did it too. I rode with him, and his dad did the same thing. He knew when the car worked, and then when Robbie's a little more into the crowd part of it, but hey, that's Robbie Gordon. That's the Gordons, and that's how it works.
What's your take, Ryan? So Robbie's in an older truck, and we were talking about how some people are with the older trucks and they just keep rebuilding them and they're reliable and they're still sticking with them. But what's your take on that? Because we think that maybe Robbie have a disadvantage being in an older vehicle.
I think some of Robbie's issues, I talk about part failures and stuff, don't revolve around how the truck itself, geometry works and handles. I mean, you watch that truck through the bumps; it runs really, really good through the bumps. You watch him corner; obviously he's got great horsepower, and it's a very good question. You go look at the Riviera truck. I had a chance to drive that truck a while back too, and that truck is really still competitive today. And it's funny because technology, some of these guys with older trucks, you got to remember, even Robbie's truck, they've changed those trucks as well to keep them updated. Robbie's changed his shocks on that truck from where he was before. Now it has the King shocks on there, which I think was a very smart move for him, as opposed to his shocks that he built. So he's made some upgrades. So it's not the exact truck that he built back in the day. Same thing with the Riviera truck. That truck's been updated as it goes throughout the years, from the drivetrain to the power plant to some of the things in the suspension. So I still think trucks like that, and if you make those changes or certain changes, can still be competitive and still win.
And we're watching the number 19 now of Ed Herbst lead the line. Great to see Ed back out racing again. And again, Ron, I agree with it. Two red trucks brings back a lot of good memories. I know a lot of memories for a lot of off-road fans all over the world who are used to seeing those trucks from 20 years ago. The old Landshark Class 1 car that was also red, the Terrible Herbst colors, and it's just nice to see that back. But I'm happy to see Ed, which is the oldest brother of the three, out here racing again.
Absolutely, and Ed's a driver, man. Ed goes really, really well. But all three brothers do. There's no question about that at all. So, and with him in the back, I would never count them out. The Herbst team somehow always finds themselves towards the front, always. So I would keep an eye on them.
Okay, some nice action here on the right to see him coming through that section of the race course right there. Looks like Stacy Groff right there.
Herb's right behind him.
It looks like, because Troy beat Tracy off the line, so it looks like Tracy somehow got around Troy out on course. So
and again, we're not sure if that's Justin Smith driving or that's
true.
It could be.
Yeah, and it could go back to what Sarah said as well about multiple lines. Maybe Tracy had a better line at a certain part of the course that was beneficial to him. It's as a driver and obviously as a fan of this sport, it blows me away how cool it is that we're watching this live, and for those thousands and thousands of people at home are being able to watch the race live. I tell people, I said, our fans are starving for content. They're starving to find out what's going on, what's happening, what are you doing, and we're watching it live. I mean, this is like landing on the moon to me. This is awesome.
You can be at work right now. You're taking a little break. And just I'm watching TV.
We remember the days
really quick.
I guarantee you the guys that are working right now, nobody's getting anything done.
No, that part's true. And I can tell you, I just got a call from my wife, Susan, who's home with a cup of coffee, watching too.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, Susan. She loves this. It's great. And I think, back in the day when we raced Baja 20, 30 years ago, we had to get a phone call from La Paz when we were done with the race after 40 hours, make sure the crew was fine. Now we're watching this great streaming again, the production. And I think one of the things that the King of the Hammers crew has done so well, and one of the absolute reasons for the success is what we're watching. There's been so much effort investment on the live stream that, here, look at us watching it. We're getting ready to watch, Jesse James take off in his truck, and Jesse's got fans all around the world, obviously, and we want to greet them here too and say, hey, watch your guy out there racing. And
this just opens up a whole new world to the fans that don't know they're fans yet, and now they have the opportunity to watch us. We actually had qualifying where you can see who's doing what pretty much live. We don't get that anywhere else.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
It takes us half a day to get the results.
It's super interesting to watch what the numbers are going to be. When you start seeing the streaming numbers and how they build, I think it's going to be. Dave's never one for being surprised, but I think it's going to be kind of an unexpected thing for him. I think it's going to be great.
I hope so and think so.
I think so too.
I think it's exciting though. You have the rock crawlers, you have the desert people, you have the side-by-sides, you have all these different disciplines within the same passion that are coming together and being able to learn about each other's sport as well.
And then we have the Ryan Arciero and Sarah Price fan club. So all around the world.
One or two deep.
Jesse got a good start there. Really good start, actually.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Jesse's coming back into it after being absent for a while. And I think he's going to be surprised what the pace difference is from when he raced before to what the pace is now. The pace is so different in Trophy Truck since the inception and all throughout the years. I mean, so you could set a good pace or set a decent pace, kind of settle into it. Now you're pretty much going 10/10.
Yep.
Or you're getting beat.
Okay, so Talville Dosola now coming off the last one off the line. They obviously split his start, so he'll start 2 minutes behind Jesse. Great thing for Jesse. It's just nice, clean air for him to run now. He's going to have
Talville breathing down his neck, though.
Yeah.
I guarantee that.
It's
not going to take very long.
Fast.
But Jesse was excited about getting some, again, shaking off the cobwebs, as he put it. He wasn't here. He said, I'm not coming here to win. He's just kind of coming back to it. I think he really missed it. He spent a lot of time with his wife, who was a top fuel NHRA driver, Alexia DeGiorgia, who runs a Patron car, and I think he spent a lot of time working on that crew the last couple of years. He's been at races, just not these races, and I think he's just happy to be back, coming out and getting dirty again.
To me, you can only stay away for so long. I tell people, I said,
they never leave.
There's no Betty Ford clinic we go to fix what we got. we
got
problems.
Yes.
We got problems.
Believe me, I think my wife Susan would check me in right away.
yeah.
I think I'd be the first guy to go there.
I know my wife Michelle would.
Yeah.
How do you make $1 million
She would drive me
two?
there.
Oh, please, let's not talk about the money. Please.
That's the addiction.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. No, it's time, too. But you know what? When I look around Hammertown here tonight, I see all these wonderful faces and these people getting together in the middle of a California morning. I can see what the appeal is, too. You know what I mean? And I wrote about this yesterday in Racer again, doing some work for Racer and Racer.com. And this culture is so much different than any other motorsports culture. And Dave has done such a great job of appropriating cultures. The UTV crowd, 4x4 Jeep,
Awesome.
mud boggers, everybody's here. And this is the one place, I think, anywhere that brings it all together. Now with the T1 trucks, you kind of brought it all full circle.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all kind of interchanged somehow, some way, a little bit, and it's neat that it's all come together now.
Now, not to give him an idea, but if you brought short course cars here the same week, then we'd have a big issue. Because then we actually could do that.
We have the course.
Dave Coley, you're listening? There you go. I'm sure you are.
So we just got word that the leading trucks are now passed through the first road crossing. So they're making time right now.
I mean, just in that qualifying loop, I think the average was 70 plus miles an hour by Bryce. I mean, that's fast. That's really fast. I think you mentioned it before about what we do in Baja. I mean, Baja can be typically 50, like you said, I think, 50, 55, sometimes 60, because we got a lot of slow-moving sections, and so it'd be interesting to see what this race ends up being.
It's interesting. Actually, my teammate, Justin Matney, he didn't make it out, so something must have happened to the all-wheel drive while I was out there in qualifying, and he didn't quite make it to the race, so
man, that sucks.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, I know. I know he had a little bit of bad luck at Parker. He raced Parker as well.
He did, in the new
G6
G6 by Geyser. They have the new lighter version truck. They kind of make it a more advanced rally car, how everything's a bolt on it. Everything's lighter.
Yeah.
You can it's more accessible to work on, and everything's just light horsepower.
I know Jeff and Rick have been working a long time, and I know they've had in their head for a long time as well what they wanted to do, and it's neat to see the next evolution of the Geyser, because they are the car manufacturer, the truck manufacturer has the most of anybody else out here. So the chances of a Geyser winning is pretty high.
Yep.
What's that? No. Yeah, you were going to take that other soccer.
Okay, here we are again, and we actually have a fourth member of our team joining us. We're throwing everything but the kitchen sink at this broadcast today. Excited to have Miles here with us with the wrench cam out in the wrench mic. That would be interesting. The wrench mic over doing some pit work for us. And Miles, can you hear us? You got us?
Ryan, Sarah, and Marty, you guys have been doing a great job. I've been running around the pits, in and out of the trailer, checking things out. There's so much action out here. I'm right at the start-finish line. This course is so dug out because most of these guys are two-wheel drive, so when they take off, they hit the throttle, and it's just all over the place. But it was really cool to see them take off side by side. Remember, this race is on corrected time, so even with Tavo leaving at dead last, he's still got a shot at this thing. I was up and down the pits this morning just checking it out. I'm still just giddy as a schoolgirl down here checking everything out. I was talking to my co-host Cameron Steele earlier, and he's excited. He had a little bit of tough takeoff in the prologue this morning, but he feels pretty comfortable. I was talking to Abdali Lopez. I saw Robbie Gordon. Bryce Menzies is on the pole, and I was chatting with him. He's got a legit fuel gauge on here, and he was hoping to be able to run the whole race, but that's 250 miles, and I don't know if he'll be able to make it. So I was like, so when are you going to come in the pit so I can come chat with you? He's like, I hope not to see you, but if I do, it'll be about 5 seconds. I can take 30 gallons of fuel in 5 seconds. These T1s are absolutely amazing what they can do. Robbie Gordon's fast. BJ Baldwin, I was chatting with him also. He said, I'm going to race hard, but I will be in the pits to top off wheel, check out the car. And then Jesse James, how cool is that to have that guy here on course? He treated me just like an average Joe when I was chatting with him. There is so many heroes in the sport racing with us right now. I'm just absolutely loving life right now. So thanks to everybody back at home tuning in. Ultra4Racing.com/live. Get on the King of the Hammers Facebook. Hit that share button. Ultra4 Instagram. Hashtag it up. It's just going to be a lot of fun. I will be in the pits running all over the place, checking things out, keeping you guys honest. Sarah, Marty, Ryan, Back to you guys.
Thank you, Miles. Hey, look, you know, I just got to know, because we talked about this morning, is that a Snap-on wrench or a Harbor Freight wrench you're talking about? Just wondering.
It was polished, so it almost looked like a Snap-on.
It almost did, but we're happy to have a pit reporter here. We're also simulcasting this for the first time ever on